Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now the main headlines. Afghanistan faces maternal and infant health crisis, the World Health Organization reports. Syria's healthcare system close to collapse, the World Health Organization official warns. United Nations designates June the 10th as International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations. Iran and Pakistan repatriate over 2,000 Afghan migrants. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from London, only on Imam Hussein TV 3. According to a report released on Sunday, June the 9th of the 24th, mothers and 167 children are dying daily across the country from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. The World Health Organization stated that an additional $352 million in funding is urgently needed to combat the serious risk of maternal mortality, warning that without this necessary humanitarian aid, mortality rates will continue to rise. The report revealed that 2023, 428 fixed and mobile health centers were forced to close in Afghanistan due to severe budget shortages. This has affected access over healthcare for over 3 million people, including more than 600,000 children under 5 and 240,000 pregnant and breastfeeding women. Women in Afghanistan are facing increased vulnerability and the country now has the highest maternal mortality rate in the world, said Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, World Health Director General. The international community must take action to prevent further tragedies and provide the critical funding required to save the lives of mothers and children alike. Syria's decimated healthcare system is facing catastrophic crisis, with nearly half of the country's medical workforce having fled amidst 13 years of civil war, crippling sanctions and natural disasters, a top World Health Organization official has warned. Hanan Balkhi, the World Health Organization's Eastern Mediterranean Regional Director, described the situation as catastrophic after a recent visit with a staggering number of people in dire need and alarming rates of child malnutrition, and only 65% of hospitals and 62% of primary care centers remain operational. Facing severe shortages of medicines, equipment and basic resources like reliable electricity, Balkhi urged donors to increase humanitarian funding and stressing that the prevention is my game and much of the harm is being seen is preventable. She proposed creative solutions like engaging doctors in research and providing virtual platforms to keep them connected globally, warning that young medics are now learning German to leave the country. The United Nations General Assembly unanimously adopted a resolution proposed by China to declare June the 10th as International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations. This decision, made during the 78th session for the General Assembly, comes to enhance understanding and peaceful coexistence among different peoples. The resolution, which received widespread support from member states, emphasized the importance of promoting equal dialogue and mutual respect between civilizations, reflecting the essence of global civilizations and initiatives, which aims to create a common space for understanding and cooperation among various cultures and religions. In his speech before the General Assembly, China's permanent representative to the United Nations, Zhang Jun, stressed the importance of dialogue among civilizations to promote global peace and international cooperation. He said that the creation of an International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations represents a significant step towards fostering a deeper understanding among peoples and respecting cultural diversity. The resolution was supported by UN member states, who praised the importance of dialogue in resolving conflicts and promoting mutual understanding. They affirmed that the dialogue among civilizations not only helps avoid conflicts, but also contributes to achieving sustainable development goals and enhancing human rights. Let us remind our respective viewers of today's headlines. Afghanistan faces maternal and infant health crisis. Syria's healthcare system close to collapse. And the United Nations designates June the 10th as International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations. Also tonight, Iraqi diver dazzles world by waving Ya Hussein banner underwater in the Red Sea. Over 2,000 Afghan migrants were deported or voluntarily returned to Afghanistan on Saturday. 1,773 refugees returned from Iran, while 324 Afghan refugees were forcibly deported by Pakistan. The refugees deported by Pakistan re-entered Afghanistan through the Spin, Boldak and Turkham crossings, while those returning from Iran used the Islam Qala crossing in Herat province. Both Pakistan and Iran have recently intensified efforts to expel Afghan refugees living in their countries without proper documentation. Afghan refugees returning in their homeland face dire living circumstances, food insecurity and unemployment. The deportation trends over the course of the past years have exacerbated the plight of the nation already suffering from terrorism and political instability. And now continue with some shorter news. The Hajj mission of His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Shirazi has continued its work and activities in the holy city of Mecca, intensifying its religious guidance and instructions to the honourable pilgrims. On its third day, the mission received representatives of Maraja, religious authorities, and prominent religious and cultural figures, in addition to pilgrims. The mission is committed to answering jurisprudential and religious questions asked by the honourable pilgrims. Members of the mission, known for their deep knowledge in Islamic jurisprudence and theology, were present to provide guidance to ensure that pilgrims perform their rituals according to correct Islamic teachings. The Shirazi mission also plays a significant role in enhancing the spirit of unity and solidarity among the pilgrims under the umbrella of one religion and strengthening the spiritual bonds between them during this sacred journey. In a clash with Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab, Somali government forces reported killing 47 fighters on Saturday, about 350 kilometers north of the capital Mogadishu. However, the government also lost 5 of its own soldiers in the battle, according to the source. The firefight occurred after the government troops and supported militia received intelligence about a planned Al-Shabaab attack in the town of Sildar in the Golgud region. Government forces ambushed the militants and carried out airstrikes against them. Al-Shabaab has been waging a deadly insurgency against the fragile central government in Mogadishu for more than 16 years. The 2024 Indian general election saw a slight decline in the number of Muslim lawmakers elected by the Lok Sabha, the lower house of parliament. According to the final results, 24 Muslim candidates won seats in the 543-member Lok Sabha, down from 26 in the 2019 elections. This comes despite Muslims making up 14% of India's 1.4 billion population, with the parliamentary representation historically remaining below 5%. The ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, or the BJP, secured 240 seats, falling short of the 272 seats majority required to govern on its own. The main opposition, Indian National Congress Party, won 99%. Many of the successful Muslim candidates belong to opposition parties or contested as independents. The winners include 7 from the Congress Party, 5 from the All India Tribunal Congress, and 4 of the Samajwadi Party. Experts say greater awareness and education within the Muslim community have encouraged more participation, with 31% of Muslim candidates winning this year compared to 23% in 2019. However, they note that the community's representation remains disproportionately low in India's legislature. A staggering 13 million people in Ethiopia are in dire need of agricultural aid. The complex humanitarian challenges facing the country have been exacerbated by a perfect storm of climate shocks, economic instability and armed conflicts and disruptions to the food supply chain. These factors have severely limited access to essential food commodities, and even in areas where production remains adequate. The FAO's report highlights the severe impact on regions like Tigray, Afar, Amhara, Oromia and southern Ethiopia. The conflict in the north and the vulnerability of pastoral areas in the south and southeast is to drought have further deteriorated the food security. In response, the FAO is appealing to $175 million in funding to support 5.46 million people across Ethiopia through its 2024 humanitarian plan. The proposed assistance aims to enhance crop production, protect livestock, and rehabilitate animal health facilities. Critical interventions, given that 80% of Ethiopians rely on agriculture on their livelihoods. Timely support is essential to improve access to agriculture inputs for these vulnerable households, the FAO stressed, as the country grapples with compounding effects of climate change, economic turmoil, and armed conflicts. Scientists have developed a fluorescent dye that adheres to cancer cells, enabling surgeons to see and remove any tiny cancerous tissues invisible to the naked eye. This breakthrough, created by researchers at the University of Oxford and Imagine AB Inc. and funded by the Cancer Research UK, aims to reduce the risk of cancer reassurance and minimize side effects. In a trial involving 23 prostate cancer patients, the dye highlighted cancer cells during surgery, allowing surgeons to remove them more precisely while preserving healthy tissue. The dye works by binding to protein found to prostate cancer cells. This technique, which could potentially be adapted for other cancers, marks as a significant step in improving surgical outcomes and patient quality of life. The Iraqi diver Muhammad al-Muayyad has achieved a unique historic feat in the world of diving by successfully raising the flag of Imam Hussein alayhi salam alongside the Iraqi flag in the depths of the Red Sea. This heroic act took place at the famous arch known as the Blue Hole Arch in the Blue Hole area of the Dahab, Egypt, at the depth of 55 meters. This breakthrough achievement crowned intense training efforts that spanned over 3 years, during which al-Muayyad spent more than 400 training hours to obtain the necessary certifications and qualifications and enabled them to undertake the adventure of diving at such complex depths. Muayyad chose to raise the flag of Imam Hussein alayhi salam at this global site due to the significance of the location and the deep symbolism the flag holds in the hearts of millions of Muslims. The Blue Hole Arch in Dahab is one of the most prominent challenges in the world of diving, requiring a high level of skills and the ability to handle difficult environmental conditions. Raising the flag of Imam Hussein alayhi salam at this site was not just sporting achievement but also an expression of loyalty and devotion to the values and the principles of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, which include resilience, sacrifice and courage. We have reached the end of today's news. Let's remind our dear viewers of today's headlines. Afghanistan faces maternal infant health crisis. Syria's healthcare system close to collapse. United Nations designates June the 10th as International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations. Iran and Pakistan repatriate over 2,000 Afghan migrants. And Iraqi diver dazzles the world by waving the Ya Hussein banner underwater in the Red Sea. You can view the latest news on the Shia Waves website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of our screen. Thank you all for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ali and her 3 children live in this, I could literally say, 3 by 2 meter room. It is morning, afternoons, evenings, her day off, when she goes to work, when she cleans, when she cooks, when she changes the kids, everything takes place in this room.
والله شو أقول لك بحياتي؟ حياتي أول وحدة تعبانة، وأنا لي 5 سنوات أنا من تطلقت. بعد هذا ابني بلم هذا من انفصلت. ظليت عشي تشتغل بالغواطي حتى يدري بي أبان دائما أشتغل دواير.
Ali, a young age, he had asthma, and Ali says that she would buy the medication before, but now she cannot afford it. So she only leaves it to emergency cases where he'll be hospitalized. Ali has very little. However, she has a lot of faith. She's still a strong believer, and she has hope. Let's work together, where your donations will give a lot of hope to Ali, where she can provide for her young Ali, to have medication for him, ensure that these girls will have the right education, and ensure that she can provide for her mum, stay longer hours with her mum, which is physically disabled.
Make your impact today. Elevate the lives of your brothers and sisters. Donate now.
With more and more victims of war and poverty, the Middle East has seen a surge in patients seeking medical aid. Iraq alone has 2.4 million people without access to any form of medical assistance. In Afghanistan, due to the lack of funding and devastating conflict, the health service is at breaking point. Imam Hussein Charity aims to help provide a better future for these impoverished patients, aiding them with finances for their prescriptions as well as dialysis of their kidneys. You can help our brothers and sisters with purchases of prescriptions for just £20, and for £200 help